right. Hello, everybody. Y'all come on in the room. Come on. It's about time. We got to get this going.
That's right.
Welcome. Listen, I'm so glad y'all are here today. I'm going to go ahead and get Instagram up and running so that they know we are ready to rock and roll and talk about this money. All right, everybody. Listen, I'm so excited to be here today because anytime we're going to learn about this money and get the money healthy, that's a good thing. Come on now, that's a real.
That's right. That's right. We talked about when your money is healthy, you feel better, right?
Come on now, it's a healer.
That's it. Yes, it is. It's a relief, right? And it gets your mind in a healthier state in your heart, release some of that anxiety and pressure and concern. And so definitely we want you to win in every area of your life. And one of them is in your finances, right?
And your money. Listen, when your wallet is good, listen, it could be a miracle worker for the
Yeah,
body,
yeah.
especially the mind. It could do some wonders on the mind.
Absolute on the mind. Peace of mind.
Yes,
Right? And
yes,
so
sir.
we
Yes,
want to use
sir.
these tools and techniques. We always say wisdom is knowledge applied. So as we extend this information, we want you to use it. So don't let it be the best kept secret, right? You're aware of it, but you don't use it. What did Maya Angelou say? When you know better, do better,
Come
right?
on now. Come
That's
on
it.
now. Wise words. And we going to help y'all do just that. Do better. Hey, Instagram over there. I see y'all over there. How y'all doing? All right. Thank y'all for being here. Got Noye Podcast Production over there on Instagram. Thank you so much for being there. They handle our podcast channel and they are amazing. They
Yes.
help us get that podcast up. For those of you who don't know, we do have a podcast, the Juice Radio and Talk Show Podcast, and it streams on all these social media platforms. Y'all go ahead and download it today, so y'all can keep up on this news that we got going on. Listen, it is Money Monday. Come on now, grab your lunch and come on over here and learn. We are talking about a topic, Pastor Grant, that so many people get in trouble with and so many people get taken advantage of by a lot of people, a lot of companies, industries, people that try and help them do some stuff with the topic we're going to talk about. And the reason why I am so grateful that you have graced us to come on this platform and talk about this topic we're about to talk about in our Money Monday series is because I want people to know the facts and truth about the credit.
That is so
Credit,
true. That's
you
so
know?
true. So that we're operating from truth, right? And what we understand,
There
right?
you
We
go.
operate from where we understand. And so knowledge is so key. And it doesn't mean that what we didn't know was inappropriate from that time period, because again, people share what they know. So
There you
sometimes
go.
you need to get in a more influenced or more informed environment so that you can go to the next level, right? That was good at that point, but now maybe you're in a different season. You have more to operate from. You have more to work with. And so now we want to enable that, right? So that you're able to make wise decisions from that perspective.
That's right. That's right. And for those of you tuning in, our topic that we are going to start today, we started it last week actually, but we're continuing it. It is part of our Money Monday series, and we're talking about credit. Now, all of you know we cannot cover credit in 1 hour session. That's not going to happen because we just don't want to cover the basics. We want to go over in-depth information of this credit. Okay. So
Yeah.
today we're starting our series again up with Money Monday. Today's topic is best ways of leveraging credit. Best ways of leveraging credit. We're also going to be continuing the conversation on the following weeks. To find out what the topics are going to be, go over to our YouTube page at the Juice Radio and Talk Show. You see the logo on the screen here. Go on over there now. Go to the Juice Radio and Talk Show and look up, and you'll be able to see the topics that we're going to cover. And subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you know when
Yes.
we go live. Okay. Now that's going to be updated by tomorrow morning. We should have all the topics in there that we're going to be covering for credit, and you'll be able to follow along with us and join us and also share the videos. Okay. And remember, when you come in, click that like button and click that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and share valuable information. Y'all share the gossip now. Y'all can share this credit worthy
That's right.
information.
Share as well. So I'll share it on my Facebook. So go ahead
That's
and take
right.
that opportunity. While you may not have the information to share directly from you, you are helping others when you actually share it on your network, right? And
That's
share it
right.
with people who know you, so that through that, maybe you all can have dialogue, right? You can have conversation about it and how it's helping you and how it's helping them. So
That's right.
yes, send that information, share to others today. And it's very simple and easy.
It
Just as
is.
she's just stated, Regina just stated, just hit like and share. That's it.
That's it. It's easy, you know. Listen, we're giving you a whole bunch of free information. Free. See, when you
Yes.
came in and click, you didn't even hit the button and say, "I want to pay this amount or pay that amount." Come on now, valuable information. Pastor Grant, let's go ahead and get started. And for those of you, Pastor Grant, just tell us a little bit about yourself as well, so that people know we're getting valuable information from the right source.
Most definitely. So I am a native of Atlanta, Georgia. I love the state of Georgia. However, I've lived in LA and I've lived in Chicago for work purposes and family. And those are wonderful, awesome places as well. From a industry perspective, I've worked in banking and finance. This year will be 34 years. I work in investments primarily. My most recent, probably 20 plus years, have been in project management in the financial sector for some of our largest money movement applications. So I work with developers and architects and analysts to ensure that our technical capabilities are up and running efficiently and effectively.
There
So
you go.
I've been managing people for quite a long time. And then I'm bivocational. So I'm also in ministry. I pastor at my father's house Pentecostal church in collaboration with my sister pastor and two others who help lead the flock that God has given unto us. And so I operate in administration, I operate in education. And I just believe God has equipped me to do what he's called me to do. As they always say, I'm graced for this.
You better let them
I'm
know.
graced for this. And then also from a business perspective, my husband and I own several businesses that we operate and run. We consider them to be family-owned businesses because we have a lot of our family who work with us in
Okay.
collaboration. And then I'm also working on my doctorate. So I'm in school, continuing my education from a
Yeah.
Christian leadership and education perspective. So yes, I have a lot of irons in the fire, but I'm thanking God that he's given me the fuel and the anointing to do what only he can do. So I'm very grateful for the opportunities that have been extended to me. So definitely having an opportunity to share what I've learned, share what I am yet learning. I truly believe in being a continuous learner. I read all the time, not just for school, but also in work and in other areas of
Mhm.
interest. So I think information is so powerful. It gives you an opportunity to make an informed decision, right? And
Right.
so a lot of times that's why we're having this dialogue and discussion. And we invite you to be a co-host with us and put questions in our chat so that we can make sure that we're giving you the information content that is helping you to evolve and to be better in this financial area, because we want to share that. We don't want to hold this knowledge and information, because our heart desires that we all grow together in grace.
There you go. There you go. I love that. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and get started on our credit. Best ways to leverage credit. This is one of a series that we're going to be talking about. If you haven't seen the previous ones, go back and check those videos out as well. So, Pastor Grant, here on the Juice Radio and Talk Show, we are a broadcast channel that loves knowledge and information that's going to help us. Tell us about this topic, best ways to leverage credit. What is leveraging credit?
So really what leveraging credit is using it to your best advantage, right?
Mhm.
So we have an opportunity to ensure that as we improve our credit score, as we talk about what's our income and our expenses, and we start to operate from a budget, we start to manage our money and not allow it to manage us, right?
Ooh.
Start to prepare for the unexpected, start to be a good steward over what is already coming in our hands, operating from the truth and faith of the word of God, that he causes us to increase, right? But he
Mhm.
is faithful to the faithful. So we have to be diligent. And then he rewards us for our diligence. So with leveraging credit, what we're saying is there's a purpose and a value to having your credit. A lot of times we just think only of being able to buy certain things, right? Or have certain things in our possession. But when we reference and we look at credit from the right lens, it can actually help us save on purchasing those items. It can help
Mm-hmm.
us save in getting the approval that we need. It can help open up the door so we'll have more to be able to invest and do other things with. So we want to look at credit for the value. It's the same thing about money. When you value money, you recognize how important it is and how it can be used, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just more than just getting things. It
Mm-hmm.
is a way to build wealth for your family. It is a way to provide for the family. It's a way to open up doors and to prepare and provide for the kingdom advancement, things that you may be doing in your ministry, your businesses, all of those things, money can answer,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yes. And so with that, credit can assist in your money going further. You can
Okay.
leverage it so that credit can assist in your money going further, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
that's what we want to talk about. One of the biggest ways to leverage credit is that it's generational wealth building, right? Because if you have good credit, you're oftentimes giving better rates. You're able to leverage more of your money toward other things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
when you think about it, it can over a lifetime, it can save you hundreds of thousands of dollars by having good credit. Um,
Right.
in the short term, right? When you go to look at down payments, sometimes good credit, there is no requirement for down payment. You can use that funding towards something else. So
Mm.
again, if you understand the importance of having good credit, you can leverage it correctly.
Okay. All right. So making sure that it basically works the right way.
Yes, yes. Credit works
Okay.
for you, right?
Okay.
Credit is your narrative. It's really what lenders look at this, look at your evaluation on how well you can repay, your
Mm-hmm.
risk level and your evaluation. So again, leveraging credit can help you save money. If we think about it that way, right? If we think about
Mm-hmm.
it, if I have good credit, I can
Mm-hmm.
save money. Good credit equates to benefits to me. Good
Okay.
credit relates to favor for me, right? So those things can help you in negotiating rates, negotiating how much is available to you, right? Higher credit scores, more availability because you're less risk to the lender.
Mm-hmm. All right, great. I love that. So let's go ahead and get started on some of these ways and tips that we can start leveraging our credit.
Yeah, so think about it. When you have a higher credit rating, you have options in your financing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot
Mm-hmm.
of times when our credit score is pretty low, we are often limited in the
Yes.
lenders who will
Mm-hmm.
lend to us. We're
Mm-hmm.
often limited in the instruments that we can go into, right? That's how
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people, we might have to make decisions to go to a car lender, right? Lend on your value of your car, or we may have to go to some of those more high interest rate lenders because our credit rating is lower, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when a credit score is higher, you increase your financing options. You can go to a more affordable lender. You can get a more affordable low interest rate,
Okay.
right? So this is how you leverage good credit. I think I
Mm-hmm.
mentioned before, one of my husband's statement is, I want to have my credit so they can never tell me no. Meaning I can walk in anywhere, get anything, and they're going to say yes. Why? Because
Mm-hmm.
I've been a good steward over my repayment agreements. You have to remember, nobody just blanketly gives you a credit score. You
Right.
earn it.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
earn it.
You got to earn it.
So if you're upset about your credit score, we can't really be mad with other people,
Right. Ah,
right?
you got to check you.
Unless you allow somebody to use your name or you allow someone a privilege, because that's really a privilege, to use
Mm-hmm.
your credit on your name because you're responsible. Same
Mm-hmm.
thing, and I know we'll talk about this later. Signing for people, right?
Yes.
That's like giving your baby away and just
Oh.
saying, "Here you go." You know,
Mm-hmm.
and so those types of decisions have to be prayed about, have to be critically assessed and evaluated. Will this be in my best interest? So again,
Right.
your credit score, you leverage it. You want to keep it in a good rating so that by having a high score, once again, you have favor with multiple financing options. You can now
That's right.
leverage it with other financial institutions. You'll start to see in the mail interest, zero interest rate, or balance transfer is zero. Why? Because you've proven that you can retain your agreement to pay on time.
I
Okay, so
love
we talked
that.
about that. So the other one is increasing your financial options. People, you can go to various lenders. It's up to you. When you have
Mhm.
a good credit rating, it's up to you. You can say no.
Oh,
You are in the position of telling people, no, I don't want that. I think we
oh,
talked about that before when we went to purchase a house. The lady was telling them, listen, y'all could afford way more than I said, I understand that, but we don't want that.
wow.
You're able now to speak from a posture in a position of authority versus
Hmm.
having to allow others tell you what you can get
What
from
you
them.
can do.
You can talk
Wow.
to others in your financial options and tell them what you want.
Wow. I love that. I love that. And I see Noye Podcast Productions over here on Instagram. They're saying facts. They're saying she's on fire. She's like, let me tell you,
Yes.
she knows this financial thing. She knows this real well. And I'm so grateful to have her on our platform to share this information with us. So that leverage is what you need. You have to be able to know what it does, but you have to also do your part to be able to get to that place where you can leverage.
Yes.
I'm loving this. I'm loving this. What other
Yes.
information and great nuggets that you have for us before we go on to the next part?
Oh, so we're going to continue on. Some of the other things that you do in
Yes.
leveraging is low interest rates, right? We talked about that.
Yes.
When our credit scores dictate that we are high risk, we get a high interest rate, right? Meaning, I'm going to, by extending you that same, let's say $100,000, I'm going to charge you a higher interest rate because you're a high risk, and there might be a likelihood I won't get it all back,
Right. And
right?
people need to understand that, Pastor Grant. I want to just interject this right here.
Yes.
People don't understand when they have that lower credit score, they end up getting the higher interest rate. It's like a balancing scale.
Yes, yeah, because they have to
Yeah.
try and see how they can get some of their money up front to
Hmm.
mitigate some of their potential loss, right?
Right.
Potential
Right.
loss. And so
Right.
what they're trying to do, I'm going to put an interest rate on here higher, right? Which dictates I'm going to get more back sooner,
Uh-huh.
right? So that
Hmm.
if you default or if I don't end up getting all of it, I've gotten more than I would have if I given you a lower interest rate. And I'm
There
getting
you
it
go.
back faster. So
I love it.
it's because I am carrying the risk. I'm carrying the risk, not you. So I want to make sure that I have an appropriate evaluation on my interest rate for me
Hmm.
carrying the risk, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
so that's what they're talking about. And so very very quickly, I want to just go and just talk about this credit ranges, right? So you'll know where you are when you have a good
Yes.
score. Where are you? So
Hmm.
typically, if we look at FICO is normally used by 95% of most lenders in scoring, right? So we look at
Hmm.
the FICO score, and you can always go to my FICO. We talked about this last week. Everyone gets a free credit report from all of the three major lenders. Just go online and you can receive those every year because you do want to monitor. Again, we talked about some credit cards actually have where you can receive a free credit review every month. You can go out there and look at your latest statement. You can get that information. Of course, I'm not proposing any credit card, but we use Discover and we just get the report from them, right? So again, whichever card you might have, you can use that, or there are free mechanisms to get that for you to review because that is your right. It's your right to know what is being reported on you and give you the opportunity to clarify or clear or resolve anything that's incorrect. That's why it's very important, especially if you're going to purchase something. Make sure you revisit your credit report. Look at the report in totality. Make sure things are clear because you could be being hindered from getting something, not because it's correct, but it's incorrect on your credit report, right? And so you want to make sure those are clear, especially before you go and do any major purchases. Okay, but going back to the credit score, so you know where you are. We talk about leveraging credit. So typically, based on FICO, if you're less than 580, that is considered to be poor credit, right? Poor credit.
Hmm.
So credit ranges between 300 and 850. 850,
Hmm.
right? 850 is typically the max. There are some credit bureaus or credit rating that go actually up to 900, but typically we're looking at FICO. FICO goes from 300 to 850. When you look at that, if you're below 550, you're considered to be in the poor range. What is this?
Oh.
Because that rating demonstrates to lenders that you may be high risk. You may be high risk because you're lower than 580, meaning When we look at all the 5 key categories of payment, your available credit, how long you've had your credit history, all of those indicators are saying, okay, if you lend to this person, it's a high risk that you may not get back all the funds you've lended. Now, if you're between 580 and 699, they're saying you're fair, meaning most likely you may get approved for loans, but then again, it's going to be a high interest rate, right?
Mm.
770 to 739 is considered good. This means slightly above average of the U.S. census, right? Again, this is where most lenders consider this is a good score. If you're between 670 and 739, they're considering that that's good.
Mm-hmm.
740 to 799 is considered very good, right? Based on the average of U.S. consumers, and that you've demonstrated by your history, by your pattern, by what you have open for purchase, by what you've already leveraged over a period of time, that you are very dependable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very good. You're showing that you are
Mm-hmm.
very dependable. So if you get your credit score between 740 and 799, most likely you will always get approved, right? Because it
Mm.
says you are very dependable. You meet your commitments. You return based on the committed agreements as stated. So you get that kind of rating. Now, 800 and plus is considered exceptional, right? And this credit score is well above the U.S. scores for the consumers, right? And so this clearly demonstrates to leaders that this particular borrower is exceptionally low risk. So this
Mm.
is where, most people want to be somewhere between that 740 and 800 plus, because in that capacity, you are most often given an approval, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
again, lenders have different requirements, different things that they also collaborate on, more so than just the credit score. So there may be other conditions as well. But typically, if they are relying on a credit score, these are the basic ones, right? So
Okay.
now let's go back to talking about lending. Did anyone have any questions about credit score? Again, we're
We
using
have
FICO because they're the
We're going to go ahead and say hello to Jill's Chocolate. Thank you, Jill's Chocolate Boutique. Thank you for being here, Jill. She says, Good morning, Juice Radio,
good
guest in
morning.
chat. Thank you
Yes.
so much. She's also saying this is great information. It is. Listen, I'm just sitting here quiet because I'm trying to write notes and take a mental, memory of all of this. TD McCullum is in the chat. Hey, TD, how you
TD.
doing? He's saying hello. And as Pastor Grant said, if you have any questions or comments you want to ask or say, please put it in the chat, and we're going to go ahead and get to those as well. Hey, Erin, how you doing? So glad that you're here. She's saying hello, Jill's Chocolate and Mr. TD McCullum. I love that. Say hello to your brother too, Erin. Thank you. And they're saying hello back. If you guys have any questions about this, let us know in the chats as well. Or if you would like us to have a show on something you think pertaining to credit that we may not mention here, let us know that in the chats as well, so that we can continue to build this, because there's a lot of questions out there that people really want to get some correct answers to. And so we love it. So Pastor Grant, let's continue. This is a lot. I'm still, listen, my mind is still stuck on the balancing scale, because I'm like, wow, if we could really, really get that understanding when we're out shopping, to know you
Yes,
may not need all that stuff. You want to keep your scale to the point where you are in control of what your
definitely.
interest rate and buying
Yes.
demands can be.
Yeah, it's your power, right? And you want to own
Right.
your narrative. You want to own your power. You want to drive that yourself instead of
Mm-hmm.
allowing other and be passive in that, because we can be passive in a lot of things, but this over time will save us. Having a
Yes.
good credit score will save us. So we talked about it increases your financial options when you leverage it correctly. We talked about it allows and affords you to get a lower interest rate when you go for lending. You have a better buying power. It also allows you to pay shorter for, or less rather, for purchases. So good credit will afford you options when you talk to other lenders.
Mm-hmm.
You have the opportunity to negotiate, right? It can spur some competition between companies for your business. People, you're getting letters at times from multiple locations that are asking you for your business. Hey, come open up this card with us. Hey, come open up this new venture with us, right? So sometimes it opens up opportunities for profitable investments. Because you have a good credit score, you are afforded the opportunity to come into some groups, right? Some information they don't even send out to certain demographics, right? On investing or going
Right.
into some commercial activities. They look for lenders in a certain credit score demographics. And so with that, it affords you the opportunity to more information, more
Mm-hmm.
exposure. So again, where you're saving money on interest, you can now attribute that funding of savings to something else, right? You can use
Mm-hmm.
that now to leverage it toward some other opportunity. It allows you, right, when you're leveraging your credit, it allows you to establish a solid credit rating, right? So when you operate at a certain level, it becomes the norm. When we discipline ourselves to make sure that we are evaluating our spending habits, evaluating our payment habits, making sure that we're judiciously using our power, right,
Mm-hmm.
in the right way, we will be a solid credit
Mm-hmm.
borrower, right? So when you
Mm-hmm.
walk in, they can just pull it right. You can walk in with confidence. Listen, I've seen it before, and you all know that I've been there before too. In your life when you weren't as disciplined, you weren't as aware of where you are, you weren't really managing and monitoring. You put that card out, you be like, Lord, I hope it go through, or you apply. They say you want to apply today, and you're in the posture of, well, yeah, I apply to get the discount, but I don't know if that's going to go through.
Right.
And you change your behavior, you change your posture. So that, listen, one of the other good leveraging is that it's a quicker approval to larger loans. Listen,
Okay.
when you show or higher credit limits, when you show a consistent credit history pattern, you start now to operate in larger frameworks, larger investments, right? When you bought the first home and you were able to make sure that that was paid on time according to the conditions and requirements to which you had agreed to. Again, this is our agreement with the lender. They're not making us do anything.
Mm-hmm.
We signed the paper and we agreed to do this. And so it shows a sign of our integrity and our credit worthiness. And that does mean sometimes life happens. Life happens. And I intended to do my best. I intended to make sure that
Yes.
that was done, but life happened to me. So now I
Yes.
might have to re-level set. We're going to talk about that later. How do you come back, right? How do you bounce back from life,
Ooh,
from
that's gonna
things
be
that
good.
happen outside of your control? So that's going to be real good. You want to make sure that you're there for that conversation. But for today, we're following up on what we agreed to. And then they say, okay, because you did that one so well, what else can we do for you?
Ooh, yes, they do. Yes, they do. Oh, they
They'll
do
just
that.
send you a letter. They'll say, listen, you got this, but we have this other opportunity over here. How else
Ooh,
can we help you? Right?
ooh, they
And then
start
you
opening up the goodie bag to you. They start opening up all the little secret stuff.
yes, yes. So they start when you buy your first venture, right? I can say that even in opening up businesses and having business loans, your first one may have been much more smaller than what you do today because over time you showed your credit worthiness. Hey, they were able to open up that particular business, get the business loan, operating loan, or whatever you needed, the instrument you needed to be able to fund that. And now when you go back, maybe for your next venture or for your expansion, you want more equipment, you need more employees because God is blessing your business and it is expanding. When you go back for more money because you've been consistent, they say, yes, how can we help you expand? Because when you
Yes,
make money, we make money, right?
I love this. Listen, y'all, listen, the benefits of having the good credit scores or the better credit scores, we'll say.
Yeah.
I want to say hello to Angela. Hey, Angela, she's in the chat. Thank you
Awesome.
so much for joining us, Angela. Appreciate you and Pastor Scott. Love you all so much. Listen, listen, Jill's Chocolate saying facts with all the 100. She's like 100, 100, 100, 100. It's all
Yes. Yes.
100.
You
I
can
love
leverage that good credit. It is a
leverage
value,
it.
right?
That's
You can
right.
leverage it. It is a value to you, will save you thousands of dollars over the long run. So the work that we do on the front end will help you in
Mhm.
the future. I always say, and you may have seen it out there before, easy decisions today make life harder in the future. But
Ooh.
harder decisions today make life easier in the future. You're going to pay one way or the other. And sometimes it's easy to pay on the front end, to constrain ourselves, to become disciplined, become good stewards, to be aware, to evaluate, make those good decisions so that in the future, you can relax. You've already paid.
Yes.
You've already paved the way. And guess what? You have
What?
created muscle in that stewardship. You created memory muscle in that stewardship. So making those kind of right decisions is nothing to you now.
Mm.
Not a difficulty because you've trained yourself. Amen. You
Right,
brought all
right.
that stuff under the obedience of what you know is right before the Lord. And so because you've done that, it's easy. Those things become guardrails for you. When you make decisions based on purpose, when you make decisions based on where you're going, it's easy to tell what needs to be said no to. It's
Ooh.
very easy. Like it's very easy for me to say no, I can't do that because that's not on purpose. That's not where I'm going. It doesn't align with my vision, what God has given us, my family, my husband. It doesn't align to where He's taking us to. It doesn't align to where our ministry is going. So I can say no to that very easily. And guess what? No is an answer.
Whoa! Come on now, y'all better get that. No is an
You don't
answer.
have to give any excuses. You don't have to tell why. You are at liberty to say no. Because
And you don't have to feel bad about saying
no,
no.
not at all. Not at all. When you're
Mm-mm.
on purpose, when you're leading toward your vision, your destiny, you have to be aware of when you say yes to something, you've said no to something else.
Oh, come
Right?
on now. Wait a minute now. Let's pause on
Yes.
that. Let me tell y'all that y'all need put where is listen, listen. Customer apparel shop. I need that one. Where is he? Customer apparel shop. Our embroidery guy here. I need that one. Say that one again, Pastor
Yes.
Greg.
When
Say
you say
that one again.
yes to something, you've said no to something else automatically because we only have a limited amount of capacity. You only have a limited amount of funding. You only have a limited amount of time. Listen, if we think about life,
Wow.
we only have a limited amount of time. We're not here forever.
Wow.
And
I
so when we
love that.
say yes to certain things, we got to make sure we're saying yes to the right thing. It
So
might
when
be a
y'all
good
out there,
thing.
mhm,
Yes.
when y'all are out there shopping and y'all trying to take that credit card out and you know you don't need what you don't put in your buggy, you know you don't need that item. When you're saying yes to that, you're probably saying no to the bigger thing that you probably really do need. So
Yes.
saying yes to something and saying no to something else. Come on, Pastor Graham.
Yes,
That's it
yes.
right
You're
there.
saying no to something. You want to
I
make sure
love it.
that's why it's so key to say yes to the right thing, the God thing,
Say
rather.
yes to
Because
the
there's a
right
lot of good
thing.
things. It's a lot of
Joseph
good things. But it's
Joseph's in the chat. Hey, Joseph, how you doing? Joseph says, hey, everyone. He says this, something else to consider is 87% of us have irregular, incorrect, or illegal items on our credit report. As a
yes,
result, we remain limited and in prison. Look at the report. Start now.
yes,
Great, great topic, Joseph.
yes.
I need
Totally
to add
agree.
that. That's
Yes.
right.
Yes. And we said
Imposters
that
and
some of
put
that
some
stuff
stuff
is not
on there.
you. It's
Mm-hmm.
errors, right? It's an
Yes.
error, incorrect. Sometimes it could be things you cleared years ago, but it pops back up. We've seen this before with some others that I've talked with. They cleared it before, could have had months where it's gone or years where it's gone. And then all of a sudden it shows back up. And so again, you
Mm-hmm.
have to make sure you're monitoring your credit report again, especially if your intention is to do something major this year. You sometimes it takes months to clean some things up. So you want to give yourself the appropriate time. I agree with Joseph. Look at it right now today. Go out there. If you haven't pulled already, we're right now in the top of the year. If you haven't pulled your credit report for this year, go ahead and request it online. You can do so online. Request your
Mm-hmm.
credit report so that you can visit it and ensure that everything is appropriately listed, and make sure where you do need to maybe reach out to some of them if they are supposed to be on there, but some of the information is incorrect. Make sure you work through that because it may take you a moment. It may take you finding some old documents or finding some information where you paid it off. And so give yourself time. Don't wait until it's time to move. What do they say? What is success? Is when preparation meets opportunity. So
Come
you
on now.
got to prep for your opportunity that you know is coming, and then you'll be successful. It's hard to get at the table and then find out things are incorrect because then, let me just say this, I've
Yes.
known people who have had to pay thousands of dollars to clear it because they were at the table. You don't want to
Wow.
wait till you're at the table to try and fix things that are incorrect. You want to
And
fix it
so
ahead of
true.
time. Talking about again, leveraging credit and saving money. Saves money if you do it ahead of time. Make sure everything is clean and clear so that when you get to the table, you're just signing. You're going through the process and you can move on. I can tell you testimony that people have come to the table and have had to pay thousands of dollars
I
to
know
clear
that.
Yes, to
Mhm,
clear it
mhm.
because it hadn't been cleared before. And if you want to sign today, it has to be gone. It has to be resolved,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
please, I agree.
I
Thank
have
you.
seen that. I have seen that, in real estate, we see that quite often with people who are purchasing a home. And
Yes,
not only should you check your credit, we're going to go into this part also. I'm going to write this down. You should also check your title. And when I say title, is to check county records to see if there's something that's showing
yes,
on title, and judgments or something on your name, because that happens too. That's a whole nother topic. That's going to go to our real estate side when we start talking about that as well. Miss
yes,
True Kelly is in the chat. Hey, Miss True Kelly, thank you for being here today. She says, "Oh, as always, good content." Thank you so much. And everybody in the
yes.
chat is going
God
to greet
bless you.
you and say a pleasant hello to you. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Erin, our moderator. She is working. Her and her brother, they work well in these chats. Erin says, please, everyone, tap that thumbs up button. That's right. Thank you, Erin. Miss True Kelly says this: should you prioritize paying off debt over savings? That's a
Yes.
good thing that we should talk about as well,
That
you know?
that is a good thing. I would say this, paying off debt over savings, because ultimately when you pay off debt, you're saving. You're saving
Hey!
money. So I would say pay off debt because you are saving money. And most often when you have interest, right, the quicker you pay it off, the more you saved with them as well. So you have 2 points of saving. You save on the interest rate for the lender that you're paying off, and then you're saving because as you pay them off, you have extra money made available, right? And so
I
you
love
want to,
that.
you prioritize to, you want to look at where you would save the most. Sometimes we pay it in different ways. We can pay the lowest balance first, because then once you pay the lowest balance out first, it may only take 1 or 2 or 3 months to pay them off. And then now you can take that extra money and apply it to the next lowest, right? And so you can get them
Mhm,
paid off faster. Otherwise, you can look at normally paying them by who has the highest interest rate, right? Because that's the one that's costing you the most. And so you
mhm,
can look at it from that perspective. But sometimes the highest interest rate is the lowest balance and it takes the longest. And you want to
mhm,
have that motivation of being seeing something move,
mhm.
right?
You want that,
I
yes.
want to see something paid off. I want to see something off the list. And so traditionally, I've always said, let's start with the lowest first, because you can knock out a lot of them really quickly, and then put everything toward the bigger ones. But yes, I would
Mm.
say pay off debt because you're saving twice. You're saving on the interest that would come as a part of the loan, and then you're making yourself available to have more funds to do other things with.
Now, let me tell you, I love that you said that when you're paying it off, you are saving. And I think that's a way that you're right, Holy Spirit. We need to do a mind shift.
Yes, yes,
Because sometimes we look at it as I got this savings over here and I got these cards, but I don't want to touch my savings. I want to leave my savings. And that's what our mind is thinking. But when you look at it, like Pastor Grant just said, when you pay off that debt, you are saving. So don't
yes,
look at it as I'm going to lose something if I take from my savings. Look at it this way: even though it looks like it's going to be depleted, you're saving over here, and then eventually it will add back to over here. You're
yes, yes,
investing. You're
yes.
basically doing an investing,
Yeah, you're investing in yourself. You're investing in
Yes,
your future. You're investing in
you're
where you're trying to
investing.
go, right? Because again, once you eliminate that debt, you're also managing your credit, because you're
Yes.
winning. That's a third win, because as you pay off debt, it is now dropping off of your credit calculation. And so now,
Mhm.
because you remove that, your what you owe out, 35% of the credit score is now being readjusted, because now you don't have that fee and that extension of credit available. You're now down to zero. And so that's giving you more
Mm.
latitude, more leverage in your credit. So you're winning there. You're winning. Right
Yes.
now, interest rate on a savings account is so low. All of us have a credit card higher than that. Right? It's such a very low savings interest rate. So you can win. Yes, you can win
Yes.
in paying off debt.
I love this. Listen, you guys, this is information that is key to helping get this credit together. And I want you all who are just tuning in, thank you so much for being here on the channel. I would love for you when you get a chance. I know it's Monday. Listen, those of you who are out there working, thank you so much for joining us for this lunch session. When you have a chance, go back and review the beginning of this video, and also take some time out to review our past videos that's on our YouTube channel, as well as our website at thejuiceradio.net. They're also on our website. So if you have a hard time finding them on some of the social media platforms, they're always readily available for you on our website, thejuiceradio.net. And we're going to be doing some upgrading on that website as well. So if you go there today and say, hey, I don't see the photos and all that's going to be taken care of by this weekend. We'll have all that there, but the videos are automatically uploaded over there as well. Pastor Grant, this is like information that I think there should be classes in school that teach
Yes.
them in the elementary sector, I would even say, on up to middle school, high school, and so forth. And,
Yes.
you guys, I think, thank you, Holy Spirit. I think a main part of family dynamics and family homes should start incorporating speaking about money and finance, credit. Start talking about it now. You may think, thank you, Holy Spirit, he's on fire today. You may think that your children are too small and too young to learn about credit. Let me tell you, they're not too young. They're learning a whole bunch of other stuff that's on these television platforms and social media platforms and stuff like that. Teach them what a credit card is. Teach them about their piggy banks. Go back to the piggy banks, you guys. Teach
Oh
them
yeah.
about earning their money and
That's
doing
it.
their chores. Pastor Grant, there's people out here, thank you, Holy Spirit. There's people out here that don't have their kids to do chores anymore. They're just giving and giving the money when they want it. It comes with no cost. Thank you, Holy Spirit, that part. It
Oh
comes
yeah,
with no
we
cost.
should. Yeah, we should be training them. And this is the thing. You've seen
Yes,
heard about the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. It
I love
comes
it.
with skill sets that they learn in the home. And
Right.
so that's one of the reasons why we have such uh, a gap disparity between our wealth, right? Is because
Yes.
we don't have the advanced knowledge. We haven't had the influx of wealth, right? So that we can pass down. So it's
Mm-hmm.
intergenerational. And so we're having to create wealth in a lot of instances where others and counterparts they have it and then they've just been passing it down, right? And they've
Right.
been passing them down with instructions on how to leverage it, how to use it, how to maximize it. I totally believe that you should have chores. Our son has chores. That's how he makes money. One Sunday
That's
he
it.
cracked me up. He was at church asking a few of the gentlemen, "Do you have anything I could do to earn some money? You need your grass cut. You need."
I see that. Look at that entrepreneurship. Come on.
Right.
He
He
knows that
already
money
had it
don't
because
come
he
free.
recognized that there is a reward for work.
There
There's a reward
is.
for work, right?
Yeah.
And so we really need to teach our children that goes together. It goes hand
Mm-hmm.
in hand. There is a reward for work, and when you do it efficiently and in excellence, is even a better pay. And I think they'll do well when they go into corporate America because they already have that skill set naturally to acknowledge that whether people, that's what integrity is, doing the right thing even when people are not watching. And so when we
Yes.
teach them that kind of skill set, that you need to have that in practice as a norm for you. You don't have to measure yourself against whether somebody else is doing well. No, I do well because that's who I am. Right.
I
And so
love it.
that's the kind of skill sets and mindset. That's why mindset, you said it, mindset is so key. That's why we started. We started the series talking about you've got to change the way you think about money. Money matters. Money
Yes.
matters. And so one of the
Mm-hmm.
things about it, and I love from brother, what is his name? David Gavinci. We read his book, Money Matters, which I just love. He
Okay.
talked about the problem with money is not money itself, it's the mindset. So it's how
Mm.
we think about money and how we think it can be leveraged and how we think about getting it in and how we think about using it and how we think about leveraging it will empower us, right? We're
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
empowered when we understand the key values of how money is used. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to have that mindset, right? And we have to teach our children. I agree with your comment on that, because we want them to understand how money works, not just for giving it, right? Don't want to always gift it. We want you to earn it because there's something
Right.
about having earned it. You respect it. Money,
Yes.
money should have some type of respect to it, right? So that we don't willfully spend it. That's the thing.
Right.
That's why it talks about, instead of, when a man is hungry, instead of giving him a fish, teach him how to fish. Why?
One of
Because
my
when you
father's favorite lines. One of my
yes,
favorite. My father's he would always say that. He says you could teach. He says you could give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day, but if you
yeah,
teach him how to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime.
yes,
That is
yes.
the entrepreneurial
It's
mindset.
so true. When we
Yes.
teach you how, then you'll have an applicable skill set that you can do forever, right? And
Yes.
so, and then you own it. It's something about our children, and even as they mature, because we're talking about money, and we really do want to start with our young people,
Mm-hmm.
saving and teaching them about the values of money. Is that when they live in our home, they leave every light, every TV, everything
Woo!
on, everything is running. But when you go to their house as an adult and they now have the responsibility, you say, "Oh, turn that off."
They don't have the AC on. They have it off.
They have a different mindset because they recognize now there's a responsibility, right? There's an
Yes.
accountability that comes
Yes.
along with having that, right? And so, having money, there's a responsibility and accountability. I know we're getting close, and I have a few more things I
Yes.
want to make
Let's
sure
cover
I
them.
cover off in leveraging credit. Leveraging credit. One of the points is that it provides you to a quicker approval. Again, when you have a good credit rating or excellent credit rating, a very good, most likely that's how you can go into a store or go into a place of business, not just store and shopping, but you can go into getting finance for a home, and or you can go into getting finance for a car if you need to, right? We believe in God, we're going to get to the place where we don't need to finance everything, but I will say this: it's good to use somebody else's money.
Woo!
That's another principle. Leverage somebody else's money so that you can use yours for what you need, right? Especially when it comes to operating for business. But we can get to a quicker approval when our credit leverage is correct, right? You can walk in the door and they can say, "Let me have your, what is it? Your license." I haven't bought a car in a while.
Mhm.
Get your license, and you can give them that license, and they'll say, "Okay, what do you want?"
Yes.
Yeah,
Give them
there
your
is no
credit. Yep.
conversation. There is no sitting down at the table and having one person come in, or the owner, the dealer, the next person over sales come in and trying to work something out. No, you can have a quicker road path to an approval when you're
Hmm.
leveraging credit correctly.
That's right. You could walk in and become the boss of your credit score, of
That's
your
right.
interest rate.
Yes,
You could be the boss
yes,
of it. Let me tell you,
yes,
they'll look at you one way when you walk in the door of these car dealerships and these places, and then when you give them your social security number and they run it, they come out and they look at you a
yes.
whole
It's
different
it's
way.
a whole different posture, isn't it? Isn't it different?
Ooh, it's a
It is
whole
a
different
different
way.
posture. Because sometimes they're looking and say, "Okay, I don't know if they'll be able to do this."
I
And
don't
then
know
you
about
walk in,
them.
and they'll come in and say, "Oh, okay." I remember listening to a financial advisor, and he did a talk, and he was talking about how people have come into his investment company, and
Mm.
they've come in and they look like money. They had on the best of clothes. They had
Ooh,
the nice purse. They had on the finest shoes, and they looked wonderful. And he said, "Okay, come in, come in. Let's see what we're gonna do." Because he's an investor,
ooh.
right? He's gonna take what you have and put it in great instruments to gain your profit, and make sure that you're winning for the future. And he said they pull out the receipts, and he said, "Oh my God, these people don't have any money. Everything they have is tied up." And then he said, "But somebody can come in. They drove in a regular car. They got on jeans or regular dress, just looking that average and normal, right?" He come in. They said, "Well, okay." They put down the receipts. That's what he called it. He said they put the receipts down. I said, "Oh my God, these people got some money."
Hey!
He said it's not in how you appear. It's
Right.
what you have, right? And so we
Yeah.
have to get to that confidence in knowing that we are our best asset, right?
Yes.
Our family is our best. It's not what we wear, although we always want to present ourselves right,
Nice. Yeah.
with in a nice presentation, because we are exemplifying God, and we do want to exemplify Him well, right? We do want to exemplify where we are in our
Yes.
office, in your position, or maybe in the job that you
Hmm.
have. We want to show up well. I believe in showing up well. You have to show up well because of what we are doing and
Absolutely.
presenting, but we want that show up to look the same in the other areas of our lives. We don't want our image to be where it ends. We don't want image
That's right.
to be the only
I
thing
love
that
that.
they can say
That's right.
that
And
well.
that's what some people do. Some people walk in a place and they are wearing their credit. They're
Yes.
wearing
Oh
it
my
and everything
God.
that they have on. And other people walk in a room and they have saved their credit. And when you
Yes.
save something, you hide it away. You hide
Yes.
it away. So if you see people wearing their credit, you would oftentimes think, okay, no, you wearing too much credit on you. I look at a lot of that stuff. I have been around groups and stuff, and they have looked at my handbags and they're like, oh, you don't have a lot of money. That's like a cheap bag. I said, but it's got a big wallet.
There you go. That's it. That's it. My sister and I,
And
we
then
always say, listen, you don't know how heavy people's purses are. That purse
oh,
look nice, but you don't know how heavy it is.
well, Fifi ASP is here. How you doing, Fifi? She
Hey,
says, hello, everyone working and listening. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate that. And Erin's going to greet you at the door. Best usher and moderator ever. I love her so much. Beautiful Shalom is here. Hey, beautiful Shalom. Thank you so much for being here today. She says, blessings, panel and chat. Thank you so much. And also, she says, stopping by to say hello. We'll repost if it's okay. It is always okay
most
for you to go
definitely.
ahead and repost our videos. I know we have the language up there. That's for legal use. Yes, you do have our permission, beautiful Shalom, to repost any of our content. You get that right from me. And if any question of it, you can run this video back and see you got your approval. All right. And thank you for
Right.
asking me because that's a polite way to do it. I love it.
Thank
So
you.
I love this. So Pastor Grant, let's go ahead. We got a few more minutes here. Let's continue to feed the people until they full.
Yes, yes. So one more thing to add on, how do you leverage credit and why it's so important? And this is key. Some companies, credit matters for your job.
Yeah.
So if you are looking for applying for a job, some of them, depending on what you do, they
Mm,
also evaluate your credit. The same as I try, because I work a lot with interns in our organization, in my other vocation, and when I talk to people about Facebook and Instagram and all those public ways of communicating forums, that you have to be aware that that's your brand. And
mm-hmm.
so organizations can look at those things just like they look at credit, they look at your experience, they look at how you carry yourself online. All of those things matter. And so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes applying for a job, they might look at it as favorable because you're credit worthy. Especially if
Mm-hmm.
you're going into a financial sector, government, you're in the government sector. It used to be when they applied, and they still do. You have to be fingerprinted, right? And so they do all these validations and checks before they can say you are approved. I know this even in areas that I operate in, they will say you are approved as a new employee contingent upon your
Mm-hmm.
background evaluation. So
Yes,
meaning
sir.
you pass all the checks for experience, you pass all the checks for a good fit in the organization, you pass all the checks for your clarity and understanding of what you might help us be able to do in our vision and mission. However, we got one more thing we got to check. We have to check your background. We have to
Wow.
make sure that you have the right clearance to be able to have access. Some roles you have access to a lot of information and they just don't let anybody come in to have it. And
Mm-mm.
so having a good credit, that you can leverage that into some wonderful jobs that only certain people of certain characteristics can have. And
Wow.
so you have to know that. Sometimes we're applying for jobs and we're wondering why we
I
get turned
love
down.
that.
When they do the background checks, not only are they checking other things like substance and again, depending on the field that you're going into, they look at those things. They look at your
Mm-hmm.
image. They look at your character. They look at what you're saying. That's how we see this now. So much so how people get fired because they are acting
Mm-hmm.
in a accordance that is not in alignment with their corporate mission and vision. And so when people are
Wow.
operate in that capacity, they are released. Why? Because you are an image of that organization. So the same goes when you're applying for a job. You want to be credit worthy. You want to be able to show
Mm-hmm.
that yes, have been judicious in my agreements and my commitments. And so I believe that's
I
a lot.
love it.
We could be talking all day long about
Yes,
some of the
sir.
right of leveraging credit and leveraging it in the right way so that it open doors for you. Credit is powerful when you know how to use it. It's the same thing. Most of us, even as parents, we would never give. My son, he just turned 13. We would never give a 13-year-old or 16 they can drive a, a Maserati, some Porsche or something like that. Why? Because they're not mature enough to handle it. Sometimes we're getting
Mhm.
credit and we're not mature enough to handle, because then we end up having years of having to repair. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how do you repair? How do you come back from some of those decisions we made that we were not informed, or decisions we made when we were not aware, right? And because I want to encourage you, you can come back. There is restoration. There's an opportunity to refine and renew, right? And so
Mhm.
don't worry about that. We are starting from where we are today and believing that in the future, we're going to be better, right? Because
I
we want to
love it.
strengthen us in our credit so that we can strengthen our children and our future generations. So I'm appreciative of the opportunity to share. Again, Regina, we could talk all day long. I
I'm
love
telling you. Listen, and some of you may say, well, why are we starting at this point and not the bad part? Because we want to put a goal in front of you. We want to give you a vision to look
Yes,
forward to. And that's why we're starting out with the advantages, the credit leveraging. That's the importance. You got to get a vision board about
yes,
where you want to go. And the vision right now, today's vision board is credit leveraging. You want to be able to walk in and know that there's nowhere they're going to tell you no. I
yes,
love that. Tammy says this. We're going to get to these two comments and then we'll be logging out. Tammy, hey Tammy, thank you for being here, girl. She says, "Hello, guys. How someone looks is an issue. It
yes,
can be." She said, "My
mhm,
cousin went to get a loan, got it. However, a couple who was a different color did not, and they were irate. They say called him many names, so forth, and race is an issue. It is." And Tammy, we're going to have conversations about that also in our credit series, talking about the demographics. We're going to
yes,
have that conversation. That's all in our demographics conversation that's going to be coming up as well. And then Joseph said this. He said, "I have had to help 13 different people who were military and needed the proper credit to continue their job because it requires a different
that's correct.
security clearance."
Yes,
So he
yes.
knows very well 13 people who were
Wow.
military. That's
Yes,
and Joseph, I'm glad that you're able to do that. We need to find out
amen.
about that. Maybe we need to have a military series on
Yes,
credit.
maybe so. I'll just say this. I totally agree that depending on what we mentioned, government, sometimes when you're in the financial sector, when you're in the investment sector, when you're in the government sector, they have a higher requirement and they look at these types of indicators. Again, these are
Mhm.
indicators of our character, indicators of our values. And so
Mhm.
that's what they're looking at when they do a total view of a potential teammate to come on board. Mhm.
I love it. Well, we've been here doing our Money Monday series with Pastor Tawana Grant. She is so gracious to go ahead and get on this platform and tell us all of these key elements that we need to get our finances healthy. Listen, and she also has a church ministry that she has over in Riverdale, Georgia, My Father's House Pentecostal Church. Y'all make sure y'all check her out if you're ever in the Riverdale area. Please check out My Father's House Pentecostal Church. If you're not in the area, they do have a Facebook page. You can join them and follow them on their Facebook page at My Father's House Pentecostal Church. If you haven't already done so, I would love for you to subscribe to our YouTube page, The Juice Radio and Talk Show. Hit that notification bell and that subscribe button and go ahead and join this wonderful team. Also, if you're out there and you say, well, I can't watch it on YouTube, but I do want to listen, you can do that by going to our podcast channel, the Juice Radio and Talk Show Podcast. That's a great program to listen to. And also, we want to thank our podcast production company, houseofnoye.com, with Noye Podcast Productions, for producing that podcast channel for us. I also want to give a great big thank you to our sponsors, Custom Apparel Shop. Custom Apparel Shop is a wonderful embroidery company. They'll help you with the embroidery that you need. You can contact Israel Mason directly at 786-657-7501. And also our main sponsor, Truth and Triumph Ministries. Truth and Triumph Ministries is a ministry that cares about telling people the truth so they can triumph in life. Thank you, Truth and Triumph Ministries, for all the work that you do. I love it. Pastor Grant, this has been a blessing and honor and privilege to have you here. I'm so grateful that you're here. And I can't wait to look for, listen, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to next week. I'm looking forward to next week.
Yes.
We're going to go ahead and Pastor Grant is out here. She's saving people's souls and she's saving their wallets too. Come on now. And building a
I
financial
like that.
generational wealth for everyone. I'm
Yeah.
Regina, one of your super co-hosts here on the Juice Radio and Talk Show. This is our Money Monday series. Thank y'all so much for tuning in today. I appreciate everyone for being here. We're going to get out of here for now, but we'll be back next week, 12 noon, for our Money Monday series and our Lunch and Learn. Y'all come and join us on this Money Monday series. All
Yes.
right.
Thank
Appreciate y'all
you.
for being here. I love it. We're getting ready to get out of here, and y'all have a wonderful day. And remember, save those coins because those coins end up to be dollar bills and more. All right. Appreciate y'all. We're going to get out of here for right now, but we'll be back. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day.